So what is going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video. Now, over the past day, I've been spammed with a ton of messages saying, Eli, you've got to check out this new Easter egg that's been solved in Revelations. Since there are hundreds of Easter eggs in Call of Duty Zombies, this mode is over 10 years old. You would expect that Easter eggs do get solved now and again, even from maps that are years old. Revelations only came out at the end of BO3, so I guess it's not that old. But I had a ton of you guys telling me about this new Easter egg, so I went and checked out Mr. Dalek JD's video. I'm not too sure who else uploaded this. However, as far as I know, credit for making the link in this Easter egg goes to someone named Kaljitsu. So there we go. Anyway, this is an old Easter egg that you can find in Revelations. I covered this on the channel maybe 3 or 4 years ago, whenever this map came out. But what's interesting, the part that I didn't know, the part that I never thought to make the connection for, is this Revelations Easter egg links to Tag der Toten. You could say back then in 2014, was it? This Revelations Easter egg hinted towards the end of zombies, or some events that we could expect to see. Of course, during that time there was no possible way we would know. Anyway, so there was a truck that you could find in the Origins part of Revelations. If you go up to it and listen, the radio in the truck plays various different sounds. You can hear the radio transmission of the truck changing from station to station, playing songs, but now and again you hear what sound like voices.
Forget it. Don't make business. At this point.
Now you may be thinking, okay, it is a radio, but we can't exactly make out what's being said. It just sounds like mumble jumble. And so what people started to do, and again this was solved years ago, is if you play the last part of that radio in reverse, if you play it backwards, you can kind of make out what they're saying. So we can hear two people having a conversation. The first person says, "And Roger, can I have your next position?" It sounds like he mentions a set of numbers or coordinates, but that part's pretty difficult to make out. And then the other person replies by saying, 43 north, 180 east. And that exact position, 43 north, 180 east, we've also heard about somewhere else in the zombie storyline, and that was in Tag der Toten. In the radios that you can find around this map between Dr. Gersh and Harvey Yena, they mention these coordinates as they're the location of the Apothecon blood. Before I play this radio for you, let me just explain the story of what's going on here. As we know, in Tag der Toten, we can find Pablo Marinus in the lighthouse. He is the hermit. At the point of this radio, he'd been living there for 13 years. We know previous to this, he was captured by Group 935, he was experimented on by Dr. Rick Toten. Rick Toten in the original timeline ended up killing Pablo after removing his spleen, and so replaced him with Dempsey. He threw Pablo's dead body to the side, and once Group 935 was abandoned, years later, Pablo ended up waking up from his watery grave. When he woke up, he found Group 935's base in Siberia abandoned, and so attempted to flee. However, every time he left Tag der Toten, no sooner that the shore faded from behind him, it appeared once again in front of him. He could never escape. Pablo was trapped in a cycle. He tried everything he could think of to leave, but he would always end back up at Tag der Toten. And from then, realising there was no escape, Pablo would set up home in the lighthouse. Over the years that he was trapped here, he began sending out broadcasts of radio signals, asking for anyone to come and rescue him. Eventually, one of his radio broadcasts was picked up by the Ascension group, and when they got into contact with Pablo, they asked who he was. Pablo told them he had been living in the lighthouse since the end of the war, and he said to them if they come and rescue him, he will build the Argothan device for them. If you're wondering how Pablo had the plans for the Argothan device, he retrieved them when Group 935's base was abandoned. They left them over. And so the Ascension Group, being Dr. Gersh and Harvey Yena, took Pablo up on this offer. They sent in a recon team to the facility where they met Pablo, and he told the Ascension Group in order to build the Argothan device, he needs the blood of an Elder God. However, the Elder God was at the bottom of the ocean, at the coordinates 43 north, 180 east. And that's exactly how Gersh and Yena obtained these coordinates. Pablo gave them to them so they could retrieve the Apothecon blood and take it back to him where he would build the Argothan device for them. So now that I've explained how they got the coordinates, I'm going to play you the radio.
I trust your trip was a success.
Like you wouldn't believe, Anton, what we found down there. The creature was magnificent, gargantuan in size. It was otherworldly, a remnant of a different age. Oh, I wish you could have seen it.
It was at the coordinates provided.
Yes, 43 north, 180 east. The blood has a fluidity to it that I find fascinating. We would have investigated further, but we intercepted a transmission that the Americans were in the area. Somehow they'd been informed about the creature's location.
Ah, these damn leaks. They will be our undoing.
It seems every step we take, the Americans follow suit.
Mark my words. There is a mole in Ascension, Harvey. We must strike it out before it destroys us. Get a team together. People we trust. If we are to study the blood, we must make sure the Americans do not find out.
To study it? Anton, I think we should follow the plan and deliver the blood to the Siberian facility.
Yet, Harvey. We cannot. This struggle with the Americans, we cannot let them get the advantage. This blood is our only leverage. After the war and Group 935 disbanded, you came to us. You came to me. You saw a better vision for the future here than what your America was offering. We created Ascension on the principle of being better men, of making this world a better place. If this blood is key to unlocking the future, we would be fools to not take this opportunity.
Perhaps you are right. At the very least, we can study it. What's the harm in that?
But one more thing that I haven't explained is, okay, that tells us why we hear these coordinates in Tag der Toten, but that doesn't tell us why we hear them mentioned in Revelations. Well, in that radio you've just heard, Yena said, yes, the blood was at the location we were told, 43 north, 180 east. We would have investigated further, but we intercepted a transmission that the Americans were in the area. Somehow they'd been informed of the creature's locations. So not only did the Russians, the Ascension Group, not only did they have the coordinates, but the Americans somehow obtained them as well. And we can hear this exact transmission in Revelations. This radio is the Americans also talking about these coordinates. How exactly they got them? Well, they were given them by Richtofen. He played both the Russians and the Americans. In Classified we can find an audio reel, which is a conversation between Richtofen and Schuster, where Richtofen tells Schuster that he's made a deal with both the Russians and the Americans. However, neither country knows that Richtofen made a deal with both of them. The Americans think Richtofen only told them this information, and the Russians think Richtofen only told them the information. They don't know Richtofen told both sides. So pretty much he was using them so they would be distracted whilst Richtofen went on to continue with his grand scheme. And Richtofen mentioned to both sides the existence of the Argothan device.
October 10th, 19...
You've done what, Dr. Richtofen?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you not see the microphone in my hand? Recording for posterity is important. Ahem. October 10th, 1945.
You've made a deal with the Americans?
And the Russians. You can't forget them.
But our work, this war...
The war is over, Dr. Schuster. It is my responsibility to ensure the work of Group 935 continues.
But these deals... It would mean the end of Group 935. The Americans and the Russians would tear us apart. Everything we stood for.
Everything this organization stood for died the day Dr. Maxis made that infernal deal with the Reichstag. You and I both know this to be true. Listen to me and understand. Our technological developments with 115 are the envy of the entire world. These agreements guarantee our work will continue in America and Russia, and that they will continue with our scientists at the helm. I am sorry, but for our work to live on, Group 935 must come to an end. Oh, cheer up, Dr. Schuster. I have asked that you go to the Americans. It will be good for your softer side.
You will not go to America?
Nor to Russia. Once Dr. Groff confirms that the MPD is ready, we will proceed with Operation SHIELD as planned, and then I have a date with destiny.
Even though Richtofen told the Americans about the Orgothan device, I'm not 100% sure if he told them how to build it, or even the location of the Apothicon blood, so how exactly they got the coordinates, we don't really know. Either Richtofen told them, or possibly they intercepted the Russians' transmission with Pablo, and they found out that way. It's not 100%, but that explains why we're here. Both sets of coordinates in Revelations and Tag. It was the location of the Elder God at the bottom of the ocean, which contained the Apothicon blood that would be needed to build the Orgothan device. So there we go. Like I said, the Revelations Easter egg is old, that was solved a few years ago, but I never thought to make the link between the two maps. Probably because there's a few years gap between them, and this Easter egg when Revelations was out wasn't one of the big ones, so just over the years I forgot it existed. However, now that I've been reminded of it, it's actually pretty cool. So there we go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, you know what to do. Drop a like rating, make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, goodbye.